Yeah, brother Marcus. Peace. How you doing? Peace, Candide. Word. Okay. We're going to get started. Let me say this is that there's a lot of things that's taking place right now. And so we're going to try to accumulate everything that's taking place and summarize it and see what is the best defense. Okay? Because we're not the best people for preparing, but we do know how to defend ourselves at times. Okay? And what I mean by that is something that's very simple. I remember 5 years ago when they released the pandemic, which was airborne. They claim it wasn't, but it was. Because why else would you have to wear a mask? It wasn't just to stay 6 feet away from the rest of the people. Okay. So let's get down to it. Most of y'all have heard about the three-eye atlas that is coming. That's supposed to be here October the 29th, October the 30th. In other words, right for Halloween. Okay. And like I said last week, trick or treat, niggas. It's going to be trick or treat. And you'll see the reason why I said that is because at the same time that the Atlas, Three Eye Atlas, is heading towards this way, allegedly being manned by those who look like African Americans, who are black, so called black. And of course, they get this information from several places. One place in particular was from Norman Burgum, who was a former NASA and NACA employee. And he wrote the book on Saturn. And in this book, he spoke about these beings that came off this craft, or he speaks about it during his interview about these beings that came off this craft. It's called the Rings of Saturn. And the beings that came off this craft, they had to have stood as high as the doorway. So we're talking about 7 feet and higher, 7 to 9 feet tall. He just said about 7 feet. And then the interviewer, this Albion lady, she asked him, well, what color were they? And he said black. And she said, so they was dark colored, dark skinned? And he said, no, black. All right, so that's one. Then there is another interview in which that sounded like it was on Coast to Coast some time ago, and they speak about the fact of during the time of Ronald Reagan, there were brothers who manned this ship, or those who look like African Americans and sisters, in which that manned this ship, in which that was a mile long. And they came off this ship and they landed on the Air Force base. And they was very militant. They had weapons. And they spoke about the fact that, and these beings also was almost 7 feet tall. It says 6'5" to 7 feet tall or so. And they had an attitude. All right. And initially, this happened during the time when Ronald Reagan. So this happened in the 80s when Ronald Reagan was president. And then there is also another scientist in which that spoke about the fact that on this particular craft or crafts, there are beings who look like African Americans once again. So we keep getting this over and over again. So these are the Anunnakians, in which that we are a byproduct of the Anunnakians. But before the Anunnakians of 300,000 years ago, we existed. We was the remnants of who was called the Syrian beings, who seeded this planet Earth over 3 billion years ago. There were some beings in which that was modified. And these are those who descended from the Neanderthals. They are the ones in which the Neanderthals were modified to eventually become the Albions in which that we know today. The Neanderthals was part of the same family as we would call now the Yeti or the Bigfoot. Now, they have a connection to the great ape. And the great apes, which are the orangutans, the gorillas, the chimpanzee, right? These are and the bonobo, these are the great apes. And these great apes are very close in genetics to the Albion, European, as he's now called. In fact, Dr. Edward Robinson break down a report, a scientific report in which that was made. And the report dealt with the fact of how the orangutan had 3 series of DNA. The gorilla has 4 series of DNA. The chimpanzee has 5 series of DNA. And the Albion, European, as he's now called, Caucasian, Caucasoid, and the Asian, known now as the Chinese, Japanese, etc., have 6 series DNA. Humans who are melanated and do not have the glands, the epiphany gland, nor do they have the barytheric gland. They're just simply humans, but they have 7 chakra system, and they have a 7 DNA series. Then you have those who have 8 DNA series. They are known as the Anunnakian. They have one or the other barytheric gland, or they will have the epiphany gland. They are the Anunnakians. And then you have the Syrian beings, who are the highest. They have the highest potential for genius. These are the remnants of those who dwelt within the Pacific Islands, as it is now called. At one time, it was a landmass known as Mu, Lemuria, as it became known as, which is a misnomer. It was called Mu. Lemuria is named after a lemur, which is a monkey. It was not the monkey people. So we don't use the term Lemurian. They were Mu. We would get the word more. All you have to do is add the R, Moor, Muur, Mu, Mu. So this is what we're talking about here. And so the Syrian beings are the highest manifestation in the physical form of the godhood. And they have 9 series DNA. Dr. York called it the 9 ether beings. But they're not the Anunnakian. The Anunnakians are the 8 ether beings. And in fact, he broke down within one of his books about Atum was an Anunnakian being, and Eve was a Syrian being. Similar to that. So Syrian beings have the highest genetic potential for being geniuses running around here. That's why the Albion won't allow for you to run and be free. And why he must always control you in some shape, form, or fashion. Because you would do great things. They are so fascinated over the pyramids. They fascinated over the mounds. They're fascinated over the stone mountains. Not Stone Mountain in Georgia, but the stone mountains, stone temples, in which that was also built. Not just the one in Georgia, made out of granite, which is Stone Mountain. But they are fascinated about all the things that we have done. So they, because of their fascination, they have to disconnect you from it. They can't say that you are the one in which that built these phenomenal monuments. Look at the architecture of what they call the Tartarian Empire. The Tartarians are nothing but the barbarians, the Berbers, the Kushites, the Hamites, the ancient Egyptians. And their dominion and empire was around the world. This is who they're referring to. The Moors are ancient Egyptians. They are the ones in which that were part of the high priests of Anu within ancient Egypt. And they took this high priestship into Samaria, and they acknowledged Anu there. Anu is the god of the Anunnakians. Anu, Anunnak, Anunnaki. Anu means up there, on high. That's what it means in Sumerian translation. Cuneiform or cuneiform. So this is what we are looking at here. So when we talk about the three-eye atlas, the Albion knows of the possibility of the return of the Anunnakians and the Galactic Confederation. And this scares them. So they will attempt to stage a Project Bluebeam slash man-made UFOs called UAPs, in which that if you silly enough to jump up on a rooftop like they did in Independence Day, you'll get your ass blasted off that bitch. Don't fall for that. No, no can do. All right. Y'all might not know that shit. That's old school right there. That's before your time. You know what I'm saying? So these are things in which that is going on. The three-eye atlas. And they keep saying over and over again that it's a threat from outer space. It's a threat. This is what they keep saying over and over again. We are in danger. This is what they're talking about. So in order to control events, their plan is to fake it until you make it. But if they're not talking about the Syrian beings, then you know that they are faking. Because the Syrian beings are the ones who seeded this planet Earth billions of years ago. And then we have, at the same time, the rumors of wars. And actually, it's not even a rumor any longer. World War III has already started. World War III has already started, y'all. When Trump bombed Iran and he bombed Venezuela, you just fucked with China and Russia. Okay? You just messed with China and Russia. That's what happened. So now NATO want the United States with them because there's some massive shit that's getting ready to happen. China and Russia is already posted up off the coast of Florida near Cuba, as well as also in Mexico. And they have targeted cities that they already have their weapons geared towards. Atlanta, Georgia, New York City, Detroit, Michigan, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, New Orleans, Louisiana. These are the cities that they are targeting just in case when World War III pops off to that level. This would be the first time that a war will be fought in the territory of the U.S. This has never happened before. So they got to get their shit together. You need to get your shit together. I recommend, if you can't get a underground bunker, because you might not have the money for that shit, well, make sure that you get MREs, canned food, bags of rice, beans, peas, flashlights, preferably dozens and dozens of batteries. And I'm not talking about the kind that comes from the Dollar Tree, because them shits already don't work. Okay? Them shits already don't work. Guarantee that. Make sure it's solar powered. Make sure you get a shortwave solar powered radio. Still got FM and AM on there, but shortwave. Make sure you have a tent or tents, sleeping bags. Masks, gas masks. Make sure you have something for radiation. It's called iodine, potassium iodine, or iodide tablets for radiation, just in case they drop a nuke, because we don't know what's going to happen. But we do know the shit is going to happen unless something miraculously take place. Okay? Make sure that you have heated blankets. And what I mean by heated blankets or material, there's material now in which that is reflective, in which that you can wrap yourself in which that warms you up. It's not like a blanket in which that you would think that's made out of cotton or polyester or something like that type of material. This looks more like aluminum sheet in which that reflects the cold, but yet it captures the heat of the body. Make sure you get out to cities. If you got somewhere to go out to major cities, do so. There's a report in which they came out, more than 15 years ago. And the report was on a zombie apocalypse. On the zombie apocalypse. CDC had a report on it, 8888. You can look this shit up. Zombie apocalypse 8888. And read it, PDF. The CDC. Supposedly it's supposed to be fictitious. The CDC don't put out no damn fictitious work. Why would they put that out? Zombie apocalypse. And why would they show you all these fucking zombie movies? Dozens and dozens of them come out every fucking year. TV shows, movies. World War Z. World War Zombies. World War Z. Hmm. World War Z. Wow. Interesting. Because they plan on releasing this zombie shit during the same time as World War III. The pandemic for this was revealed by Johns Hopkins Hospital. They did a simulation, just like they did 5 years ago with the pandemic, called coronavirus, which became COVID-19. 19 stands for ID. That's what COVID-19 symbolizes, is a new coding ID. And those who got the jabby jab, they can pick your ass from out of the lineup because you would be bioluminescent green. Giving off them goddamn spike proteins and shit. Infecting those who did not get the jabby jab. And to make sure that it's concrete, let's put it in the food. For those who are vegans, let's put it in the lettuce, the tomatoes. Yeah. The mRNAs is in the food now. The nanobot technology is in the food now. This has been verified. This is real shit. So this is their plan. Johns Hopkins Hospital did a simulation this past year. So between now, 2025, going into 2030, they're going to have what is called SPARS. 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 Yeah. This is their plan. Another respiratory disease. But this one is going to be targeted towards the children. Okay, we killed off the old folks the last time. Now let's get the kids. Yep, certificate of vaccination identification. COVID-19. Exactly. This is the shit that's going on. Okay? And then at the same time that this is taking place, starting in October, going into November, we talking about solar flare activity, super flares, mega flares, in which that's supposed to be bombarding the planet Earth. affecting the Schumann resonance, which is called the human resonance, which normally is 7.83 hertz. And it supposedly is going to increase because of these flares. The Schumann resonance is going to increase. They talk about from 7.83 hertz to 700 hertz, in which that is going to cause a shift in consciousness. So for all you niggas straddling the fence, acting like you don't know what the fuck is going on, lying to yourselves, it's getting ready to take place. So all this is supposed to be happening at this, accumulating at the same time, y'all. All right, this is no joke. And I talk about all this in my new book that I actually shit is 2 years old now. Planetary Genesis, Stargate DNA, and extraterrestrial origin of humans. I don't know why people don't understand what is getting ready to take place. You think they just having congressional hearings on the UAPs, on the UFOs, if they're not getting ready to fake this shit? Huh? And they've been having them for the last 2 years every summer. They're trying to prepare you. Brother Crumb, the master student, is on the live. Peace to the God. Peace, Brother Ramesses. Peace, Brother Lee Bay. All right. So we got a lot of things happening at the same time, y'all. You got to get ready. You got to get ready. You need to get filtered drinking water pens or straws, as they're called. Okay. To filter your water, just in case if you have no choice but to, you might not have access to tap water, might not have access to any type of water unless it's rainwater. Get you containers in which that you can utilize catching rainwater. D Calico, peace to the God. Get you some shungite. That's what he just said. Purifies the water. They remove the impurities. I don't know if y'all remember 5 years ago when this shit popped up with the pandemic the first time, nearly all the Moors got quieter than fucking church mice. They ain't say a fucking word. Panic asked me to come out and drop the bomb. And we did a 10-hour video. I was the first to talk about the things in which that was taking place then and giving healing advice. And this is the reason why they took the video down off of YouTube. But I put the shit on BitChute. So the information is still there. Fuck YouTube and start going to BitChute. BITCHU. The Moors got quiet. They wasn't saying shit. Because they was scared too. They ain't know what to do. They ain't know no cures. They ain't know anything. All this shit that they damn was popping off prior to the pandemic, popping off the information about the law and all this stuff. That shit was irrelevant during the pandemic. Notice that. Go back in your mental reservoir. They weren't saying shit until I popped off and started telling everybody what the fuck was going on. And I started talking about Betelgeuse or Beetlejuice or Betelgeuse, however you want to pronounce it. And how that correlated with the Kobe unaliving. Tim Burton had to have seen it. Because shit, he ended up making a damn part 2 to the shit. Beetlejuice 2. See, niggas don't appreciate the authenticity and the realness. I'm trying to help you all out again 5 years later before the shit pops off. Not just to be reactionary, but to be prepared. The guy said, Crumb TV, facts. Alim saved me and my family with that lesson. Peace to the God Alim. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. T.321. Action. So, once again, let's look at what you need to do. You need solar powered flashlights, solar powered radio, shortwave. You need solar powered generators. See, they have plans on during this time period to also do a strike, EMP, strike, electromagnetic pulse beam weaponry, in which that would knock off the grid, the energy grid, the electric grid, the internet grid. There won't be an internet. So that means that you would need walkie talkies, preferably walkie talkies in which that is solar powered, in which it has a good range on it, at least 20-mile range. You would need bulletproof vests, front and back, in which that protects your chest and abdomen areas and your back area. Make sure you have weapons, rifles, 9 milli, Glock, 40, 357, 380, etc. If you want something simple, a 22, right above a pellet gun. Bow and arrow, slingshot. Yes, brother Panic. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Yeah, you can get um rifles or a rifle from Walmart. In order to get gun, a gun or guns, all you got to do is go into a pawn shop now. They run a damn criminal background check on you right there. You pay for the weapons and you out after you sign off on the paperwork. You got your weapons right then and there. It ain't no long time no more. You got to wait weeks, days, or weeks to get back to you. You walk right up in there in the pawn shop. They get your name. They get the names of the guns in which that you want. In other words, the written portion. In other words, the gun number that's on it. Make sure you don't have a felony. Make sure you ain't crazy. And you can get them right there. No problem. Okay, let me see what's going on here. You see. Yeah, it says they have gun shows in Florida where they don't do background checks. Damn. Yep, rifles don't need a license. Exactly. Well, in a state, stand your ground state, you don't need a license. Just verification. Write down the serial number. Write down your name, your address. You fill out a few questions, and you out. So make sure you have rifles, handguns, bows and arrows, slingshots, brass knuckles, knives, swords, any and everything for protection. The question is, how come every Indian claiming more now? Hopefully, because they finally reading the damn book, reading the Emperor's book. But she didn't separate the MUUR from the MOOR, and that's what they're trying to do. She used them interchangeably in the Return of the Ancient Ones. Right, so hopefully everybody got something from this breakdown tonight. Let me see what's going on here. Well, as I said earlier, MUUR comes from MU, which is Mu, which was the name of a gigantic Pacific island in which that was part of what we now call Hawaii, which is also part of Easter Island, California, which was once an island itself and part of Mu. And then California um, broke off after the destruction of Mu and attached itself to the mainland, now known as the United States, America. Yeah, you said these internet Indians changed the pronunciation to Mears. Yeah, well, I told them to. I said, if y'all don't want to use the word more, MOOR, then Meru. We are the Meru people or the Mears, MERS or MERU. So yeah, brother Calico, brother D, yeah, that's the reason why. They'll watch my videos but won't give me no credit. But they'll take my information and act like they made that shit up. But this is the study of the information. And I've done videos on that information some time ago. In Webster Dictionary, when you look up the word more, in parentheses, they have MER. So they tie it back to the same origin as well in Webster Dictionary. So it's futile to keep trying to separate MOOR from MERU or MUUR. It's futile, but they'll get it sooner or later. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they'll get it sooner or later. Because we still moving on with being mirrors ourselves and Moors. Yeah, you can contact me at 252-999-4377. That's my phone number. She's around here. I appreciate that 10 for you, Shorty. Yeah, yeah, we did. When I told Panic about it, he was like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah, man, I'm telling you, shit, Alim, you be doing that research, nigga. That's what I'm talking about. God damn. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to get up off this piece. We'll be a little bit later. I love y'all for tapping in. Appreciate all the positive comments. You know, I'm glad that y'all rock with us. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Brother Panic, one of a kind, yo. Yeah, that Panic was the road dog right there. Much appreciation to all of y'all. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely come. Henderson ain't much, but yo, the ancestors put it here for a reason. So, you know, we're gonna be doing what we need to do. You know what I mean? Panrific. No doubt. Peace, y'all. Any books in stock? Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, we have plenty of books. Yeah, Planetary Genesis, Stargate DNA, and the Human Extraterrestrial Origin. And I got another one coming out real soon. And that one is called it's going to step on some toes, but we're going to get it. It's going to be dealing with Benjamin Banneker, Ben Bay Emmanuel Muali, Chief Justice, being Prince Hall. All right. Oh, the Psalms book. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the hymns of Akhenaten, Unkunten, Brother Ramesses. Oh yeah, smash the like button before you leave. Yeah, the like button. If you haven't subscribe, ring that bell so you can get notification. Okay. Brother Jamal, appreciate you. Thank you. It will be out before April. Okay. The new book on Benjamin Banneker is Prince Hall. Oh yeah, we got over 100 acres. We've been trying for the last 8 years to have brothers and sisters to work with us so that we have a place that if shit happen like this, we will have a place to come to. Oh wow, you can hear the crickets and shit. Yeah, they loud, right? He said the other site is BitChute. Yeah, BITCHU. Yeah, but if you want to go back and listen to the 10-hour video that me and Panic did, Queen was on there too. And we was on that joint for 10 hours. Oh yeah, I know. Mad different from New York, no doubt. Uh, Speaking about Dr. Malachi Z. York, come to find out he's my second cousin, D. Calico. So I guess that's the reason why this shit runs in the family. As far as the information that is. Yeah. I tell the goddess, hi, peace. Yeah, they did. But they had to. I mean, I remember him saying back in the 80s that he only had 30 years to teach niggas. So 1970 to 2000, that was it. You know, they picked him up what 2002 at the K mark. Yeah, raise some power, brother. Panic. Yeah, yeah, and they started trying to do that shit afterwards to all the niggas that came afterwards. Yeah, yeah, I mean, definitely the shit could have been a setup. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I know one thing that they never showed on TV, you know, while it was going on, a verdict, and then have the person to state in some shape, form, or fashion that they was guilty. Well, only reason why we brought it up is because the brother raised the issue, or the brother spoke about the fact of Dr. York, brother Tyreek. There's no need to get upset about this shit. You know what I'm saying? If he did what he did, then he's paying for it. 135 years. If he didn't, then it was a setup. Then we know the reason why the shit went down the way that it did. That's all. Nothing to get upset about. You know, this ain't emotional roulette. But I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.